Ooh.
I think I'm down here.
Ooh. Hello, my name is Brianna, RN, and I'm your CNA instructor. Let's get started with the lesson. Today we'll be talking about communication barriers in healthcare. The lesson will be Lesson 1, 1.2, okay? So let's dive down right into it. So communication barriers are the things that can prevent what you're saying from being understood. So you might have wanted them to know that you needed them to come down, but they didn't get that. There are many factors that can distort the message you are trying to communicate, resulting in your message not being perceived by the receiver the way you intended, that is. When communicating, it is important to seek feedback to make sure that what you said is what they heard or what's understood. Make sure what you said is understood. You must be aware of these different barriers to reduce their impact by continually seeking feedback. So you want feedback on how am I doing with taking care of the residents. We'll let you know. So jargons. This is using words that sound too professional. Okay, everybody's not a nurse or a healthcare professional. So using healthcare professional words to people who don't know what that is, it can create some misunderstandings. So me as the charge nurse, wanting you to walk a person to their room, I'm not going to say, hey, can you ambulate Mr. Such and Such to their room? Well, I feel like you should know what ambulate means, but it's not keeping you in mind. Okay, hey, can you walk her to the room? Those big words are kind of unnecessary, especially something simple as saying, can you walk her to the room? Someone say, ambulate, what that mean? Obviously, them trying to find out what that means they don't understand what you're saying to them. So talking like that, like, this is your message, this is the person, instead of it getting to them is like, they're like, what? Your lack of attention. You might be talking to this resident saying that you're going to take them a bath. But if you're not giving them that attention or looking at them to verify that you are talking to them, and then you just go up there and try to touch them, they're going, what are you doing? Make sure the person that you're talking to, you got their attention. So to better help you understand the word barrier, this is your message. This barrier is preventing what you're saying from being understood. And your person is here. So this barrier is going to prevent what you're saying from being understood by the patient. That barrier can be a lack of attention. Using words that's hard to understand the meaning of, or they don't know. Them long words. Noise and distractions. How can someone try to understand what you're saying if they can't hear you? Turn the TV down. Close the door. Pull the privacy curtain. If you're trying to feed your patient, but they can't see, turn the light on. Don't go in and talk in the dark. They might think you're on your phone when you shouldn't be, but hey, you're talking and no one can see you. How the hell you're talking to them? They can hear you, but how are they going to know that what you're saying is directed towards them? If the patient has a hearing or speech problem, if they can't hear you and you're talking, how are they going to understand what you're saying? If they can't talk, how are you going to understand they understood you? Get you a blackboard or a whiteboard where they can write if they can write. Get a picture board where they can point to let you know if a yes or no, if that's okay. The language difference. We already talked about this. If y'all speaking a different language, how you going to know what they're saying? Get an interpreter. Get someone who speaks that same language. The difference is in cultural beliefs. You're dealing with a patient who don't do eye contact. Them feeling like you don't respect their culture might impair them from understanding what you're saying. That personal space is very important. I know if somebody is too close to me and I don't, especially if I don't know them, I'm going to be like, my attention is going to be on how close they are instead of what they're saying to a degree. Psychological barriers. You might deal with a patient who's very depressed. They're not up for listening to anybody. You might deal with a patient who has anxiety attacks all the time, general anxiety. So they're more focused on something calm on them other than what you're saying. Or you might be going through something in your private life, being rushed or distracted or overwhelmed are a few things that can affect the message and its understanding. You might be in a rush on your break to talk to somebody on your phone. Instead of you talking in a manner that can be understood, you're talking too fast because there's something on your mind. Not just the patient might be having a psychological barrier going on. The physiological barrier. A person might not be willing to understand, listen to you if you're hurting. They're not going to remember that you said you're going to come in at this time. Or you're saying that that's what you said, that you're coming back. That it's going to be you that's coming back instead of someone else. While you're talking to them, they're in agony. They're 9 times out of 10, they're not going to understand what you're saying because they're not going to be paying attention to you. Non-verbal communication. You're sending stuff through the portal at your job. That is less effective than just face-to-face communicating. Because sometimes people might not check their email in time when you need them to. Because sending something through a message, that facial expression, that tone, that seriousness, if it is serious, is not going to be easily perceived versus if it's face-to-face. Me saying hey to the message could be different from saying hey or trying to get your attention in person. So when you're trying to talk to people, it's best to use a face-to-face approach. Differences in perception and viewpoints. Everyone wants to feel heard and where they're coming from understood. So if a patient says they're in pain, you can't say no, you're not in pain. Your perception is different from theirs. If a patient's saying they're hurting, you are not to judge whether they are lying or not. If they say they're hurting, you go get the nurse or the nurse and get them something for pain. I want to read this tab thoroughly. Everyone has their own beliefs and perspectives and wants to feel heard. When patients feel their beliefs or perspectives are not valued, they often become disengaged from the conversation of their plan of care. Information should be provided in a non-judgmental manner, even if the patient's perspective, viewpoints, and beliefs are different from your own. You might be dealing with a patient with an amputated leg and you feel like they need to be on a lift, and they feel like they don't. You might be talking to them as in a manner of they should be on a lift. And that can come off as rude. Like, you'll be like, how are you going to walk around with that one leg? You're not supposed to do that anyway, but I'm just trying to give an example of how your perspective and viewpoint can be different from theirs and how you talk and how that can be embedded in your communication with them and make them feel a certain way to not be able to want to hear you anymore. So let's put it all together with the conclusion. We as individuals have to be mindful that something as simple as not talking loud enough or not looking at a person when talking can affect what's being heard when you are speaking and what's being understood. Your patients needs to know who you are and what you are doing to them. Don't allow those barriers to interfere with your patients hearing you or your patient's understanding of what you're saying or doing. Introduce yourself. Hello, my name is Brianna and I'm your nurse today. I'm here to give you your medicine. That's if you're a nurse. As a CNA, hello, my name is Tanya. I'll be your aide today. I'm here to give you a bath. You want to sound as if you know what you are doing. Sometimes sounding too brand new will scare your patients and thinking you're going to make an error because you don't know what you're doing. So be confident and it should come off smooth off the tongue. Talk as if you are talking to your mom mom and or your dad in a sense that let's say they have dementia. How would you talk to them to get them to understand what you're saying, understand what you're about to do with them? Being respectful and ensuring their dignity, right? You wouldn't want someone touching or carrying your mom or yourself to various places without knowing who they are and what they're doing. These barriers are important to understand because you don't want a patient to feel like you're a stranger and about to do who knows what with them. Let them know, and sorry, if there's something that you feel like is going to prevent your patient or who you're talking to from understanding what you're saying, let's get that taken care of. If they can't see you, turn the light on. If they can't hear you, talk up. Get a little closer. Make sure you are being seen, heard, and understood. If you're not being understood, that feedback needs to be there to ensure that you are. If not, changes can be made so that it is. So I'm trying to tell Miss Sally that I'm here to give her a bath. I need to be mindful of her condition. If she's deaf, I need to be getting my board because if I'm talking to her, let's say I forget that she's deaf, and I go in there and I say, hey, I want to give you a bath. She didn't hear me. She might have seen me or heard my lips moving, but she didn't understand what I said. And let's say I wasn't mindful that she understood. I didn't get any feedback, or I didn't try to check for feedback. Then I come in there now that I'm ready to give her a bath, and she's all like, what are you doing? The barrier is she didn't hear me. I didn't get that feedback to improve her understanding of me. Barriers are things that prevent what you're saying from being understood. So find out what barrier is impairing your message from being understood by who you're talking to and fix it. I hope this gave an understanding on barriers. Thank you. I'll see you again.